Sanibonani bafundi ba grade 12. I hope niyaphila. Messi Sisibiya. Senze English first additional language. It's that time of the year. Asefika my exams. And I wish you all the best for paper 2 wakusasa. I hope paper 1 was okay. Paper 2 ke, as you'll be writing tomorrow, just asikhumbuzane a few things before we go over this poem, The Grasshopper and the Cricket. Asikhumbuzane ukuthi paper 2 njoba una 70 marks, wena you only answer ama-questions awu-2. Kuyadepend ukuthi what is it that you did esikoleni. If you did poetry, then or wenza ma-short stories, or wenza a novel, or wenza drama. So uphendula only 2. Yes, iphepha liba liningi, but wena you know ukuthi uthisha ukufundiseni. So please just answer lokho okufundisa uthisha. Njoba ngithe uphendula ama-questions awu-2, kuyadependa ke mhlambe if it's i-poetry. Ku-poem kuzovela ama-extracts, ama-poem awu-2, which is mhlambe enye izoba 16 marks, enye izoba 17, 18 or 17, which makes 35. And then uthole ukuthi short story, it's another 35 marks, which gives you 70. So ungaphenduli into ongazange uyifunde, uyimoshele isikhathi. Ngiyazi niyaphenika when it comes to paper 2, but ke phendula lokho okufundile, and I hope nikwazile ukufunda ke. Okay, let's just go quickly over poetry. When it comes to ama-poems ahlukene, angithi siyazi, aspects, there are different kinds of aspects. Mhlawumbe uqala ukuthi if a poem is free verse, if it's a free verse, it means ayilandeli particular form, ayibi na rhyme scheme, thothi nama-lines awalingani, uneven, khona uline omude khona umfishane. I'll make example, njengale poem eniyenzile, Hard to Find, the type is a free verse. And then bese kuba i-lyric poem. I-lyric poem, i-poem ene-musical quality, engazuthi kuyaculwa. And usually i-lyrical poem isuke ikhombisa ama-feelings of umuntu oyibhalile, rather than telling a story. Ayixoxi story, ikhuluma ngama-feelings umuntu usuke expressa ama-feelings akhe through i-poem. Njengale poem esike sayenza, What Life Is Really Like. That is a lyrical poem. Then bese kuba khona futhi ama-sonnets. Ama-sonnets siyazi ukuthi i-sonnet ina 14 lines. 14 lines kuba ne-octave ena 8 lines, kube ne-sestet ena 6 lines. Usually iba ne-rhyme scheme, and ekugcineni ibe ne-rhyming couplets, which are the 2 lines. And siwenzile ke ama-sonnets this year, sonnet 73, which we did, and no Grasshopper and the Cricket, le esizoyenza manje mangiqeda la. And then bese bakhona i-narrative poem as well. Narrative poem isuke ixoxa i-story, it tells a story in the voice of the narrator. Kushuthi usuke u-poet exoxa i-story. Siwenzile ke futhi this year Reciprocities. It's Reciprocities is a narrative poem, which is a ballad. Slave Dealer, it's also a ballad and it's epic. And also uNiger and the Inkosazane yasezulwini, it is also Inkosazane yasezulwini, it is also a narrative poem, right? And then so when it comes to poetry, uyazi ukuthi uzophendula lokho okwenzile, lokho okufundile, and then you'll be good to go, right? Namhlanje sizokwenza i-Grasshopper and the Cricket. I-Grasshopper and the Cricket, it's a sonnet. So njengoba kuyi-sonnet, it's got 8 lines, which is the octave. Ngishilo ngathi octave, it's 8 lines, and then ibisiba na 6 lines, which is a i-sestet. Okay, ibhalwe-ke uJohn Keats. Ikhuluma ngani? I-grasshopper ne-cricket. I-grasshopper is iqhwagi. I-grasshopper is iqhwagi leli egcumayo ensimini. And then i-cricket inyendle, uyabona le eba ngumsindo, iba ngumsindo usually in the evenings. Nayo, these, both of them, they are insects. Bayinambuzane zasendle. Okay. La, in the grasshopper and the cricket, kwenzekani? I-sonnet i-celebrate i-beauty of nature. So ikhuluma la ngobuhle bemvelo. Ubuhle bemvelo kanjani? Ukuthi i-grasshopper iqhwagi leli and the cricket upoet la upraiser these two, i-grasshopper and the cricket, for producing the music of nature that is always alive. Shuthi bahlale becula. So uthi the mayiqala i-poem uthi the poet of earth is never dead. Shuthi music is always uhlale ukhona, poet of nature, which is the music. I-music yenziwa yini? Yenziwa these two insects. Uthi and even kuma extreme weather conditions, la kubanda khona noma kushisa khona kakhulu, i-music, it doesn't die. Kanjani? Because omabili, these insects, the grasshopper and the cricket, they both survive the harshest weather. Harshest weather while producing the buzzing sounds. Noma kuthiwa kanjani, the harshest weather, kuyashisa, it's in the middle of summer. I-grasshopper will always find it lokuduma, ishona le nale, and ngathi when ngithi njoba indiza, when it flies, this buzzing sound, amaphiko ayo, that is the music that it does, because yona ayiculi, ayifani ne-cricket lehlala insweneni iziba ngumsindo. So i-grasshopper, it sings during the day. So iyacula ngokwenze njani? Ngokubhaza. It's when it moves from one grass to another, ngenkathi indiza. And then lana sithola ukuthi kune-interconnection between love and nature, because mangabe kushisa kakhulu, even when the sun is very hot, uthola ukuthi inyoni ziyabaleka ziyongena ngaphansi kweyihlahla, because they are running away from the heat of the sun. But uthola ukuthi i-grasshopper ayiphumuli, it flies, iyandiza, and when injoba indiza, with this sound that it makes, it moves from one place to another. And then when isikhathele, what does it do? Iyacasha. Icasha under the wheat, because isuke isikhathele, but uthola ukuthi inyoni zona ziphumule, yona ayiphumuli. And also bese kuthi and i-cricket inyendle nayazi ukuthi irritate kanjani, especially mawusuthi ufuna ukulala ebusuku. So first octave, the first 8 lines, Keats la ukhuluma nge-grasshopper. And then kwi-sestet ila isekhuluma khona nge-cricket inyendle. So in the last 6 lines, what does he do? He emphasizes the fact that noma bekuthiwa kubanda kanjani in winter or at night, because it's very rare akuvamisile ukuthi inyendle uyithole emini, iba ngumsindo kakhulu ebusuku. So at night it hides from the frost and snow, iyabaleka iyocasha, ibalekela iqhwa namakhaza. But isound yayo, njoba ngithe at the beauty of nature, the music of nature is always alive, it never dies. Uze athi lapho when uqala i-sestet line 9, he says, the poet of earth is ceasing never. Shuthi awupheli music of earth. Njoba ngishilo ngathi kune-interconnection between love and nature. So this guy, uyambona ukuthi and this poet he's romantic at heart, because uqhathanisa music kanye ne-nature. And then uthi la he emphasizes the fact that in as much as kubanda in winter nasebusuku, i-cricket iyahamba iyocasha, but icasha kuphi? usually uyithola ukuthi iyaye ingene endlini. And then siyazi ukuthi isikhathi esiningi in winter siba ney'tofu ezi-warm ezibasiwe, so it tries to find a warm corner in the kitchen near a stove. Uma kuyathola nje leyo ndawo izoba ngomsindo, you know that irritating sound. Mina-ke yangi-irritate, kodwa-ke i-poet uyayithanda-ke the sound. It got this screeching sound that is very irritating, awukwazi ukulala, but yona it is singing. So yena uthi, so he says both these creatures, they keep the poetry of nature alive. So kuyena he enjoys the sounds that they make. Okay, and then moving on, in the poem sithola ama-themes awu-3. Eyokuqala i-theme is the beauty, ubuhle bemvelo, the beauty of nature. Beauty of nature ukhuluma ngani? Ngama-sounds, imsindo eyenziwa i-grasshopper and the cricket as they sing, as they buzz, because i-grasshopper, it buzzes around when it flies, and then cricket, it makes this noise. But to him, it is not noise, it is music. It is music to his ears. Shooting ngathi bona benza njani, bayacula. And then another theme that we find, ikhuluma nge-endurance, to endure, ukubekezela. I-endurance ihambisana nokubekezela, ukubekezelela ama-extreme weather conditions. Angithi la sikhulume ngama-extreme weather conditions, mangabe kubanda kakhulu, or when kushisa kakhulu, uthola ukuthi zombili these creatures, these insects, they never rest, abaphumuli. So they enjoy, bayakwazi ukubekezelana, ukumelana nesimo se-weather, even if it's extreme. And also another theme, so ngithe kune-beauty of nature is the first theme, and also endurance, ukubekezela. And then another theme is immortality. Immortality is when something is immortal, shuthi ayifi leyo nto, it lasts forever. But lana ukhuluma not immortality like ukufa, but ikhuluma ngo-eternal delight of the beauty of nature, ukuthi the beauty of nature ayipheli, because lapha ku-first line he says the poetry of earth is never dead, immortality leyo. And then line number 9 he says the poetry of earth is ceasing never, kushuthi la it's eternal, akupheli. So the beauty of nature, kune-interconnection la, kuyahlangana love and nature, so i-beauty yakhona ayipheli. And then i-tone, how is the tone? I-tone is joyful. Uyabona ukuthi lo muntu happy, he appreciates these insects, so the tone is joyful, the tone is merry, kunokujabula. And mood yakhona injani? How is the mood of the poem? The mood is celebratory, kushuthi la uyacelebrate, he celebrates the beauty and the sound that these insects are making. Okay, grade 12, I guess ifundeke le poem. Let's go through our sonnet before we try to see if we can be able to answer the questions. Ngizolifunda nje quickly, and then to go through our questions, and then sibone how far we go. The grasshopper and the cricket. The poet of earth is never dead. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun and hide in cooling trees, a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new mown mead. That is the grasshoppers. He takes the lead in summer luxury. He has never done with his delights, for when tired out with fun, he rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed. The poetry of earth is ceasing never. On a lone winter evening, when the frost has wrought in silence, from the stove there shrills the cricket song, in warmth increasing ever, and seems to one in drowsiness have lost the grasshoppers among some grassy hills. Okay, the poet of earth is never dead. when all the birds, angithi ke sasho la ukuthi inyoni when it's too hot, they try to hide under the cooling trees, ziyabaleka ziyocasha. But there is this voice which doesn't die. Which voice is that? Yiphi le voice engafi that moves from hedge to hedge, le esuka from one grass to another amongst the new mown meat, mhlambe kade kusiwa utshani. So utshani kade bumowa, so grasshopper, the sound that it doesn't die is the sound of the grasshopper. He takes the lead in Summer Luxury. Uyabona ukuthi happy. He has never died with his life, for when mayisekhathele wenze njani, he goes and rests. He rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed, ahambe ayocasha phansi kotshani thizeni. Okay, aqhubekeke lapho line 9, when the beginning of his estate, he says the poet of earth is ceasing never, awupheli. Njoba ekhuluma ngale interconnection, he says on a lone winter evening, kuyabanda, it's in the evening, isebusika, when the frost has wrought in silence, kuyabanda, everybody wants to be indoors, wonke umuntu ufuna ukuba ngaphakathi athole ukufudumala. And then uzozwa and he says from the stove there thrills the cricket song. Nansi cricket ibangumsindi yansoniniza lapha, in warmth increasing ever, and seems to no one in drowsiness have lost. Uthi uzama ukulala awukwazi ukulala, because there it is, it's making noise. So he says the grasshoppers, and seems to no one in drowsiness have lost the grasshoppers among some grassy hills. So there is a comparison here between the cricket and the grasshopper. Okay, let's just see if we can be able to answer the questions. Question number 1, he says, give a detailed description of the structure of the poem. Sishiloge sathi le poem it is an entire, it's a sonnet, it's a Petrarchan sonnet, because inani inama lines of 14. Sasho futhi the first 8 lines are referred to as the octave, and the 6 lines sestet, and then besiba ne rhyme scheme as well. That is the answer to number 1. Number 2, he says refer to lines 1 to 4. Let's just go quickly through lines 1 to 4. The poetry of earth is never dead. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun and hide in cooling trees, a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new mown mead. The question is, identify the figure of speech in this line. What figure of speech is here? It is a metaphor. Angithi siyabona. And then number 2, it's a quote 2 words. Grade 12, when the question says quote, please don't forget to use the inverted commas, because we are quota. You open inverted commas, you apply 2 words, and then you close the inverted commas. Because if you just write the answer without the question, the quotation marks, then you're going to lose the marks. If they say quote, remember to put the inverted commas. To quote 2 words from the poem that suggest a sense of relief from the heat of summer. What are those 2 words? The 2 words are cooling trees. And then you put your inverted commas and you get your full marks for that. And then number 3 says, which creature's voice is dominant in the octave? The octave is the first 8 lines, and it's so a creature's voice that is dominant lapha le ememezayo, it is the grasshopper. It's the grasshopper's voice, yona le octave. And then number 4, he says refer to line 10 to 11. On a lone, let's go to, on a lone winter evening, when the frost has wrought in silence, from the stove there shrills. So the question is, refer to lines 10 to 11 on a lone. Choose the correct answer to complete the following sentence. Okay, the figure of speech based in these lines is 1, simile, personification, onomatopoeia, or metaphor. So what is the answer there? The answer is personification. Enziwe samuntu. Right. Number 5, explain why the poet believes the poetry of the earth is not dead. Yindaba poet icabanga ukuthi poet of the earth is never dead. Twala, explain. So in other words, you'll be using your own words. Ukuchaza. Uzosho ukuthi the poet of nature does not stop soothing us with its music. Suthi njoba zicula nje, as they do these buzzing sounds and this shrill sound that is made by the cricket. So when you explain Zoshuti, poet of nature does not stop soothing us with its music. It's polisa kanjani. When something soothes you, it touches your inner soul. It soothes us throughout the year. So irrespective of the seasons. Angithi summer, nansi grasshopper. Winter, nansi cricket. So we never lack music. Number 6, name the insect responsible for breaking the silence in winter. It is the cricket. That is the insect that is the cricket that named the insect responsible for breaking the silence in winter. And then explain the contrast in the octave. It contrast into when things they contrast, it means azihambisani. So to explain the contrast in the octave, yini into pixanayo la. The contrast usuyachaza ukuthi the contrast it created by the birds. Angithi la kuney'nyoni and also kune grasshopper. So it contrast yenzeka kanjani? It is hot, it is summer, it's ehlobo. So what happens here? Contrast is created by the birds. Then when it's very hot, then design this and this, what do? They hide in the extreme heat, but shade, but bangene under the shade of the trees. And particular grasshopper, what does it do? It contrasts as the birds are resting, hiding from the sun, in the trees. Grasshopper, what does it do? It doesn't hide. It moves from hedge to hedge. Ilokhu iqumile izikhathaleke bese ithola-ke umthunzi-ke iyophumula-ke under the weight. Okay. Number 8, identify the main theme of the sonnet. Beswachazileke sathi ama-themes awu-3, but what is the main theme? The main theme is that the poetry and music in nature do not die. So music in nature wufi, the beauty of nature as well as endurance. Endurance ukuthe ziyabekezela zombili these insects. Then moving on to number 9, what constitutes the poetry of earth? State 3 points. What constitutes the poetry of earth? State 3 points. Okay. Point number 1, the poet of the earth is not writing. It's not written in words like a normal poem, but it's made up of the sounds of nature. Sounds of nature are coming up. Where do these sounds of nature come from? These sounds are produced by the insects, these 2 insects, which is the grasshopper and the cricket. And then moving on to the next question. The poet succeeds in illustrating the commonality between the grasshopper and the cricket. Ukwazile, kuthiwa the poet succeeds. Uyavuma yini? Discuss your view. If you say yes, he did succeed, ukuthi akwazi illustrate commonality, ukuthi khona ukufana between the grasshopper and the cricket, discuss that view. If you say yes, uzochaza ukuthi usucceed kanjani, uphumelele kanjani. And if you say no, uzochaza futhi ukuthi why you say it didn't succeed. Okay, if you say yes, there's no right or wrong answer. Yes, he did succeed. Why? Because both the grasshopper and the cricket, they represent voices in nature's music. The grasshopper's song balanced the extreme heat during the summer by providing music that is comforting and pleasing. And the cricket does the same, Nini, during the winter. So in nature, the grasshopper and the cricket, bayezwakala, they are audible, whereas the other creatures, lawa amanye ama-creatures, wona anjani, they are silent in winter. That is mode, and mawuvuma ukuthi yes, he did, he was able to illustrate, because and then mode, no, he wasn't. Uzothi one, these two insects, they provide irritating sounds referred to as poetry. Mhlambe mina-ke njengoba kade ngisho ukuthi mina nje i-cricket yang-irritate-a i-sound yakhona engcono ne-grasshopper, kodwa nayo futhi when it does this sound uzubaleke because iqhagi liyathusa anyway. So you can say no, he didn't, because these two insects, they provide irritating sounds. But yenake, these irritating sounds, he refers to them as poetry. And also the sounds made by the insects keep us awake, asikwazi ukulala, instead of awakening a positive memory of summer. So asikwazi ukuphumula. And we can also say not all the readers will see the commonality between these insects, because the cricket is hiding in winter, whereas the grasshopper is active in summer. So again, grade 12, there is no right or wrong answer. Mabethi discuss. It depends when ukuthi it depends when ukuthi and ukwazile yini to support, to substantiate your answer. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi in as much as Russia is cut, but I think you will do well go paper 2 tomorrow. But okubalekile kakhulu, answer kuphela lokho okufundile. Don't answer izinto ongazange uze uzifunde. Pendula imbuzo and ube relevant, and try to use usebenzise your own words as much as possible. Sesifike ekugcineni of our lesson. I wish you all the best. I hope you are gonna nail it in the exam. Thank you very much.